The 6.5 is on the road at CES 2024 in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's been an excellent show so far. There's been a lot of technology, AI for cars, AI PCs, AI smartphones, AI gadgets, pretty much AI for everything, Dan.
Forget anything?
Nope, I probably did, but you can fill me in.
No, look, in the last 14 months, there has been no trend line that has been more pervasive than AI. So anyone that's kind of acting surprised or comical, I already did that tweet.
Yeah.
We knew what was going to happen, but we are at this, this inflection now where I really do strongly believe that events like this, we'll see this at Mobile World, we'll see it in all the vendor events throughout the year. It's going to be about implementation. It's going to be about, okay, we've heard about AI, we know how powerful it is. It's going to write your articles and create your images and build your PowerPoints. But what about the practical uses, the things that you and I talked about for the last decade with AI? What about building your supply chains? What about creating more productive workforces or helping us hire the right people? These are the kinds of things that we're going to see this year. And CES obviously is part of that story, but it's always fun, Pat, to see this technology come to life.
No, it is, and the automotive space is absolutely on fire. I mean, CES turned into the auto show starting about 10 years ago, right? And each successive year, we saw more and more auto technologies. And there's auto design, auto technologies, but there's also the practicality too of IT data challenges, right? Supply chain, cleaning the data, being able to get it ready for the AI, for all the benefits you talked about. And this is a great lead-in. We have Toyota and IBM here. Shobhit, Audrey, great to have you here for the 6.5.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. I think we should just rename this as the Consumer AI Show at this point.
We can do that. We can do that. Yeah.
Well, Pat just declared it the automotive show. So after this conversation's over, we'll let you two thumb wrestle for it. But in all seriousness, I think, obviously consumers love cars, and I love cars. So, if I get over to the floor, get to spend some time. I'm going to be over there at Toyota. I'm going to be over there checking out what the automotives are doing because, cars, and there's a huge passion with this. So as we electrify them and we make them autonomous, there's still this relationship that consumers have with their vehicles. It's so important. So look forward to talking about it. Audrey, Shobhit, I'd like to start with both of you, just giving us a quick chance to introduce yourself, the role, and what you do. So start with you at Toyota.
My name is Audrey Mito, and I am one of the transformation leaders for our vehicle supply chain. It is a multi-year program where we're kind of rebuilding our entire end-to-end supply chain with respect to how we manage and distribute our vehicles.
Shobhit.
Shobhit Varshney. I'm a senior partner in IBM Consulting. I'm accountable for all of our AI, GenAI, analytics, and IoT business in the US, Canada, Latin America, across all the various industries that we serve. So I have the distinct pleasure of partnering with Audrey and the team on what we can do together in the automotive space with AI and IoT.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off pretty broad here, right? We're here in Las Vegas, CES 2024. A lot of innovation going on here. So how are you using a lot of these innovations here to unlock enterprise value at the company? We'll start off there. Shobhit, you want to talk about how you're enabling this?
Absolutely. I think innovation is coming at it at a very rapid pace, but innovation has to run at the speed of trust. So within IBM, we are a hybrid and AI company, right? Hybrid cloud. We are very focused on AI for business. So when you look at innovative technologies like AI, generative AI, we are very focused on how do you make sure that works within the regulatory environment, within the trust that you've built, within the security needs and things of that nature. So we partner with large organizations like Toyota and others where we take those innovations, we look at the actual processes of how things get done, how work gets done, the workflows of humans that we are working with, and we see where we can surgically embed those to really transform the way that process works, right? That has been the mission for IBM Consulting, and in doing so, we partner with a very large ecosystem. We have one of the best AI technologies in the world with Watson and our IBM side of the family. But we also have our ecosystem partners with Microsoft, AWS, Googles of the world, where we tap the entire ecosystem to serve the one purpose of reinventing how a company is doing their business. And ultimately, it boils down to what do we do with the end consumer and what happens to those experiences.
Audrey, do you want to weigh in on that? This is all about unlocking value, innovation, obviously in your purview of supply chain.
Yeah, I mean, if you technology is just moving so quickly, and it's so hard to keep track of everything that's going on. And so we need to partner with a trusted company. And we feel like IBM is that trusted company for us in parts of our supply chain. So they help us see what's out there. They help us, look for applications and, POCs that we can try out and test things out and get things out there quickly. Because traditionally, it takes a long time to build applications and new features. And one of the things that we are trying to really push is the speed at which we get it out there, but without disrupting or losing the trust of our customers. Right? So.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny. It's hard. All we do as analysts is we track the technologies and make recommendations to enterprises and the technology. It's hard to track, but we're not actually implementing it. Okay, it's a lot harder to do it than to write research reports and talk about it. And yeah, the trust factor of doing that and finding, realizing that you don't have to do everything. You should figure out who you should partner with is a great step on that. And you're not alone in the enterprise AI world.
It's interesting when I was listening to you, say that, Pat, I was thinking, what if there was an AI solution that generatively could tell you what are the important technological advancements that are coming out that you should be spending your time on, and how do we parse through based on my role and responsibility, and can I get a summary of that? No, I'm just saying, you actually think about, we're sitting here going, we should start to think about the practical implementation of it. And here's Audrey going, well, I run supply chain, or I help lead supply chain for this massive global organization, and I can't keep up. And it's like, well, maybe there's a company that builds a solution that would be able to ingest all that data. And it just kind of, it's like, well, this really works well. So, Pat, we may be paratroopers at time, and we just trooper in and we give our ideas, and consultants, right?
Exactly.
Consultants.
I think it's really important to understand how process and how human work happens in an organization, the workflow itself, right? And quite often, in this entire year, we did a lot of pilots, put a lot of generative AI into production. And at the end of the day, when you look at the way workflow is working, there are multiple steps along the way. It could be a 7-step process to go figure out what's my ETA for my vehicle, or how do I go, I need some help for my car, and things of that nature, right? Across the 7 steps, we focus a lot on understanding which technology would be applicable. There are certain places where you just need to call an API and you're done. Certain cases you have a traditional AI model for fraud detection, as an example, that's working really well. But then there's a step in the way where, say there's an invoice coming in supply chain, you want to read that invoice and make some sense of it, cross-compare, 3-way, 4-way matching and stuff, and then approve that invoice. That step could be very applicable for generative AI. So the entire year we have spent a lot of time looking at which specific sub-tasks in a whole workflow have delivered real ROI for organizations. So this is back to your question about an innovative technology surgically inserted in how work is getting done in an organization, and then everything around it. Showing a demo will take us a few minutes, but then productionizing it, all the security and the data and everything that has to come before and after for audit purposes and stuff, that's what takes us time to go put these into production so we can ensure the trust.
Audrey, from your lens, talk a little bit about the partnership. It sounds like you're trying to do a lot. You're trying to move very quickly, and you said that you feel that IBM's the right. What are the characteristics and the focal points that have helped you come to that realization, and what are you all working on together?
As part of our transformation, our goal is to improve the customer experience. That is our guiding light. That is what we're doing.
It's like end to end from all the way choosing to
from supplier
and making it and servicing it, the whole customer experience.
Exactly, and we have an old system that we run our supply chain on historically, and we needed to do some technology uplifts on our side. But rather than just do just a tech uplift, we decided to focus on the customer experience and to build a new system that's designed to meet and exceed our customer experience requirements or expectations. And that drives every decision that we make, how we do it. What would a customer want? What is the ideal customer experience? And it's not the same for everyone. So it has to be very flexible. We want to be able to help a customer pick the best vehicle, recommend the best vehicle for each of our customers individually.
And
part of
Audrey,
it.
I've been a Toyota customer for the last 25 years within Toyota and Lexus and others, and I'm on the receiving end of everything that you're doing for all of us. So thank you so much from the millions of us across the world.
Yeah.
Can you talk about co-creation from the IBM standpoint?
Yes, I think it's very important for us to be embedded in like together in the teams, right? At times, if you can't tell IBM and a Toyota person apart, and that's success for us, right?
Right.
Because there is a sense of understanding of the complexity of how work is getting done, or how the business works, or the constraints that we have to work within. That comes from years of doing this within Toyota. So the subject matter expertise that we get from Toyota's side of the family brings that depth, right?
Right.
We have a maniacal focus on understanding how technologies can be shaped and morphed fit into those processes, right? So those subject matter experts co-creating together are able to then have a meaningful insertion of innovation inside of an organization. And there's everything else around it, around change management. How do you reshape your talent around it? IBM as a company, we are just such a big, massive global organization. We've had to do this to ourselves first before we come and do this with our clients. Supply chain, great example. Our hardware, our IBM technology, we have an insanely large global supply chain that has to deal with all sorts of complexities around it. We went through COVID and whatnot in order to make sure that we are able to have a resilient, transparent supply chain. So I think, Audrey, if you can hit on a little bit of the complexity that you see within Toyota's supply chain, and that'll explain to you why this co-creation is so important to make sure we address those.
Yeah, so we sell over 2 million vehicles in the U.S. and the challenges over the last few years of parts and limited resources,
right,
just overall, has really challenged us in terms and asked us and made us think and look internally and say, what do we need to do to better manage that? How do we bring value to our company while meeting the needs of our customers? And so we knew that we didn't know everything, and we didn't understand truly how to do customer-centric design, and so we searched and found our IBM partners that could help us there. But also, we did change the way we develop. I'm part of the business. We have IT partners that are with us, and we have different other partners like IBM, but we truly are one team. We sit together, we make decisions together, everything that we do, so that we can bring the best of all of our SMEs, all of the knowledge that's available, so that when we build something, it's truly value add. We build for production,
right,
and we implement quickly.
It's a great testimony to the multi-decade long relationship that the two companies have had together.
And there's
for
a
certain
method to the madness, right? There's like getting people's creativity within the constraints and stuff. We have had an IBM Garage methodology for the last decade, where we have refined it over time, that helps us focus the teams on where it matters, understanding, walking the shoes of an end customer, understanding an employee's experience or a dealer's experience, things of that nature. You map out those journeys, you figure out where the pain points are. We do that work together in a room, and then you get to see where it'll be a big impact of deploying new transformation.
I'd like to end the conversation where we started, which was around AI. We had a great conversation in the green room. I think it was ETA, window, something along those lines. Maybe let's wrap just with some specifics on what you're doing, AI, generative AI, and some applications. What are you trying to achieve, and what's working now, and what are you looking at maybe to the future?
So, especially over the last few years, the ability to predict when a product is going to be available to you that's just expectations, right? And as a purchaser of a vehicle, you would expect even more.
Right. Well, and you're making a lot of decisions based on availability too, right?
And so we have our first opportunity for us to really use AI and GenAI was to start using it for predicting ETAs of our vehicles. When is a vehicle going to arrive at our dealership so our customers can pick it up? Right? So that was our first opportunity, and we are looking at other opportunities to, again, I mentioned earlier, how do we recommend the best vehicle for you as an individual? What's important to you? We want a system that can be very unique and that is able to treat you as an individual.
And Audrey super simplifies it. There's a lot of data exhaust you have to deal with. There's all kinds of data supply chain that you deal with. That Fabric has to give you a very authentic answer. And every time you tell a customer that here's your ETA of the window for arrival, you have to back it up. It's grounded in data. It's there are AI models that you can explain behind the scenes and things of that nature. So I think the fact that we are able to understand the complexity of the business, deploy AI in a trusted, responsible way, combine the two to deliver better customer outcomes. Me as a customer, that's gold for me.
Right.
And of course, it sounds like the partnership is really solid, and congratulations on that. You know, Shobhit, to your credit, both Patrick and I have chronicled pretty extensively the IBM Watson governance and the progress you've made in both getting to market early GA and then actually following it up with governance, indemnification. Of course, you know, with the right grounding and the right, you know, database and algorithms, you can minimize risk, but you know, we want to move fast. You know, the industry wants to move fast, so you know, you've helped de-risk for clients as well. And so congratulations on that, congratulations on your partnership, and thank you both for joining us here on the 6.5.
Thanks so much for having us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in here to the 6.5. We're at CES 2024 in Las Vegas. For Patrick Moorhead and myself, it's time to say goodbye. Hope to see you all really soon.